Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm back here at European Auto House to have a look at this beauty right here. This is a 2009 Mercedes CLS 550, a very unique car for the time. This being marketed as a coupe, and you can see just how it looks like a coupe, but it has 4 doors, but it's still marketed as the first, I guess, mass-produced 4-door coupe. So what we're gonna do in this video is we're gonna start with the front end design. This being a 2009, the facelifted version in front. How you can see that, if we look at the grille here, you can see that we do have 2 slots in the grille right here instead of the pre-facelift, which had 4 slots going through into the star. I think I personally prefer the pre-facelift with the 4 slots. This still looks good, but it feels like these are just a little too big for the rest of the graphics that goes on in the front end. The hood design has a very simplistic design with these lines cutting through right here into the headlights. And the headlights themselves, I'm really glad that Mercedes decided to separate the design for the headlights here from the rest of the lineup completely, because this has a very unique design to it. And when this first came out, I wasn't really a huge fan of this design. I thought it looked strange, specifically how the front end slopes down so much. It reminded me of some sort of fish. I also like that this is the AMG package. It makes it look like a proper AMG car with the very aggressive features down here, and I like how the white is contrasting with the black down low. Xenon headlights, we have an Edison light bulb up there for the indicator, and we have the fog lights down here as well. Beautiful chamfer going in here with the washers included in the bumper itself. Some heat extractors up here on the grille, looking very, very nice, and very typical for Mercedes of the time to have those up there. And I think overall this design has aged really, really well. It's a very good looking car. If we just were to update the headlight graphics, for example, put in some modern looking lights here, I think this design would actually still work today. So coming around to the side view here, and I think this is probably where the CLS shines the most, because here you can clearly see the coupe shape of this car. And we also have this very sharp shoulder line right here coming from the taillight. It actually goes in and cuts here into the taillight, as you can see, then continues all the way through both doors. And have a look at this. This is such a cool integration into the fender of the front here, how this fades in this area and then wraps into the fender of the front wheel. The wheel designs are great as well. Love these simple 5-spoke designs, some of Mercedes' best looking wheels. 245 18s all around. And if you look at the proportions of this car, and if you think about wheels today, 18-inch does not feel like huge wheels today. Usually we have 20s, 21s, specifically on a big coupe like this. But 18s to me, for this type of design, just feels like the right size for this car. And I would not put bigger wheels than this onto this car. We also have this beautiful line down here at the bottom, carving out some of this volume in the lower end. This being the facelifted version, another reason you can see that is if you look at the indicators here, the side mirrors. The side mirrors are completely new for the facelifted version for 2009 with these LED indicators looking very clean. Also love that they are in white. And now if you look at the overall proportions of this car, just check out how much this line curves up into the greenhouse, making a very, very tight greenhouse up top. And the rear seats are not very spacious because of that. You have, if you're taller than, I would say, 6 feet, 6 inches would be a problem. But if you're taller than 6 feet, you're not really going to have a lot of space in the back seat. We do have some chrome here as well, and the sunroof that is popped up for the moment, looking very clean. Antenna back there as well. Some additional chrome on the door handles here. Beautiful proportions overall. As I said, it feels like a very modern car still today if we were to just update the graphics of the car. Now coming around to the rear end here, this is, again, the 3/4 rear view is probably going to be my favorite view for the CLS. I just think it looks proper from this specific angle that we're looking at it from right now. And you can see all the creases and lines here, how it's shaded and how it wraps, sort of like a very dynamic design from the front end going into the taillights here. And super sharp and crisp taillights in the back. You have some changes for the facelift here for the taillights. LED indicator, as you can see right here, creating this C shape. We also have AMG exhaust pipes. It sounds really good with this 5.5 liter V8 that we have under the hood. Love the badging here as well. Mercedes always feels like it suits it to have a splash of chrome, and we do have that here. We have this chrome trim piece here, Mercedes logo, AMG of course right there, and this is super sharp, this end point. Just have a look at how it curves upwards a little bit right here. And this is typical German design of the time. Audi calls this a nail spoiler on their cars. Mercedes, I don't think, have a specific name for it, but it looks very tight and creates a very nice end point for the exterior design. Now, if we pop the trunk back here, there's really nothing special about the trunk. It's pretty big for this type of package. As I said, this is a pretty unique package for 2009. But you can see just how deep it goes in there. You have some netting here if you want to store some stuff here, not want to have them mess around or fly around in the back. You also have a cigarette 12-volt outlet right there, and that's pretty much it for the back. We can open this up and see what we have underneath here. We do have some more storage. Don't have a spare tire for this specific CLS, but if you want to store something else down there, you do have a little bit more storage. Another feature that is very cool for 2009 is that this is in fact power assisted. Check that out. How cool is that? So let's pop the hood and let's see what we have powering this beautiful 2009 CLS. And here we have it, the big, beautiful 5.5 liter V8 putting out 382 horsepower, 391 pound-feet of torque, connected to a 7-speed automatic. Rear-wheel drive, of course, like we want in a big Mercedes like this. You also have the 0 to 60 time being 4.7 seconds. Fuel economy comes in at 14 city, 21 on highway. And this one is for sale right here at European Auto House for $11,999. With that said, let's check out this interior. So I have the key right here. This is what it looks like. This actually has, also pretty cool for 2009, it has keyless start. So all you got to do is have the key in your pocket, jump in here, and then we have the start button right here on top of the gear selector. So if we press this, gonna come to life just like that. And I love the gauge clusters of these Mercedes right here. It looks so classy with the font, black font on top of the white background and a nice small little housing for it. Look how organic and dynamic everything feels in here. We have the vents up here as well. Very easy to adjust these vents. Climate control settings, everything being tactile and easy to figure out how to use these. No pixels, big screens sticking up. But this is probably the era, I've said this before, but I think 2010s to 2015 is for me the sweet spot when it comes to technology in cars. I don't really want to have any more technology than what we had in these cars right here. It just looks beautiful. We have some wood trim up here, which again, I think suits Mercedes. Have some chrome on the outside and some wood on the inside. It just feels Mercedes to me. Further down, we do have this small little screen here. I don't need a bigger screen than this, even though everything here is pretty outdated. If we go into the navigation, you can still see where you are from a top view, but it's very, very simplistic, and I don't think anybody would use this today. Instead, we would just plug in our phones and use that for navigation. But you do have the number pad here if you want to dial somebody back in 2009. Further down low, we do have heated and ventilated seats for the Mercedes from 2009. And if I press this, it actually feels pretty good instantly. I can feel how the seats are cooled down now by this function, and it worked really well back in 2009. This is something that not a lot of car companies do well even now in 2024. Then you have this button, which is the curtain back there going up and down. Pretty cool. If you want to have some shades for your passenger, you can help them out by just raising that curtain back there. You also have the folding headrest for the back seat, lock and unlock, of course, and the heated and cool seats for the passenger over there. Now further down, you do have this little storage compartment with what looks to be an ashtray here. Not sure if anybody still smokes in their cars, but you do have that here. Gear selector looks nice. Love this integration up top. Engine starts up. It just looks very high quality. You can just press it with your thumb, and that's pretty much how you start and stop the car. Putting it into reverse is not going to really pop up a reverse camera, because that was just I think mandatory in 2016. I do believe it became mandatory to have a backup camera, so we don't have that here. However, we do have, going to drive, you do have the paddles here behind the steering wheel to shift up and down. Then you have this suspension setting here. You can change the suspension to Airmatic DC Sport 1 or 2 or Comfort. And that's the settings you have. So you have 3 different settings. And as you can see, this specific model, CLS, has done 82,000, just over 82,000 miles. You can also raise up the car with this air suspension, which still works right now, which is crazy to me. So build quality in here feels solid. You have a brand new steering wheel for the facelift of 2009. It became a 3-spoke steering wheel, which I prefer over the pre-facelift version. Beautiful star in the middle, and these controls here to figure out what you want to have in the center screen right there. Very simplistic information that I don't mind one bit. As I said earlier, I don't really want more technology than this. Look how beautiful this watch is. Analog watch, speedometer in the middle and the tachometer to the right side, and these beautiful gauges for the fuel gauge right here and the temp as well. Looking very industrial and classy. And then we have a round vent on the sides of the car. We have square ones in the middle, rounds on the sides. The settings for the headlights are located down here, parking brake, and this typical adjustment for the Mercedes seats. You have a seat icon sort of where you adjust the driver's seat by just pushing these back and forth. Controls for the side mirrors here, and the controls for the windows are located right here on the door, of course, as well. These seats are some of the most comfortable seats I've ever sat in. They just look nice. They look plush and like a sofa almost, like you just want to sit in them forever and never really get out. They have some bolstering on the sides, not really on the sportier side. This being a CLS is going to be more on the comfort side, and these seats do that really well. Up top, we talked about the sunroof earlier. We do have a mirror here. 2 cup holders in the middle with this leather wrapped armrest. If we open this up, you see that we do have a little bit of storage down here. Not the biggest storage compartment, but it's totally fine for me. You can also open it this way. Some cool German engineering in the armrest. So with that said, let's jump into the back seat and let's see if I can actually fit behind my own driving position. So I'm 6'1", 6'2", and I'm not really sure if I can actually fit back here. I haven't sat in the back seat yet, and this is my driving position. This is the overall view of the interior. So let's jump in here and see how this goes. So leg space, you can see that we have these carved out portions in the front seat. If we did not have those, that would be a huge problem because my knees are basically all the way up to the front seats, as you can see, and headroom as well. It's not the best. If I just sit upright, I'm definitely gonna hit my head on top of the ceiling here, but that's what you sacrifice some functionality for this beautiful styling. If you wanted a proper sedan, you would either go with the E-Class or the S-Class. But you do have 4 climate zones in this car, 2 in the front and also 2 in the rear, which is pretty cool. Again, for features from 2009. Then you have this little storage compartment here, another storage compartment right here with a 12-volt cigarette outlet. If we fold down this center armrest, you do have this German engineered cup holders right here in the front end that pops up like that, and some more storage here in the middle. Let's take the 2009 Oh, it's so smooth already. I love Mercedes of this era. It just feels so smooth. Every single Mercedes, I guess E-Class and up. 2009 CLS 550. Oh, the V8. Nice. CLS 550 for a drive here. And let's see how this feels after 80,000 miles. So far, so good. Very solid feel in this car. Love the 3-spoke steering wheel that we got with the facelifted version. And the thing about this V8, it just feels, the right word I would guess would be healthy. It just feels like it's still full of life when you're stepping on it. It feels great. 382 horsepower, around 390 pound-feet of torque from this 5.5 liter V8. Oh, you can tell that this car is built for high speeds. It feels so stable, just accelerating. It's not this push that you get in high revving engines. This has more of this pull. It pulls you from the front instead of pushing you from the back. So we're at a red light here, and I'm just gonna floor it as soon as it goes green. So let's go. Oh yeah. The 7-speed shifts very, very smoothly as well. You don't really feel that this has 80,000 miles on it, 82,000 miles on it, because everything feels so solid still, and that is what I love about German, specifically Mercedes of this time. They just have this engineering genius, genius engineers at the team that knew that these cars are gonna hold up for a long time. And that's exactly what this feels like. Such a comfortable ride. And it's quiet in here too. Even though we do have a big 5.5 liter V8 up front, this is not necessarily a car that you want to have scream too loud, even though it would be cool to have an aftermarket exhaust on this, even though we do have the AMG exhausts. As soon as you step on the gas, you just get this Mercedes pull, and I love that. I remember that from the W140 S-Class when I was a kid, the S500, and when I got to ride in that one, I just felt like I was in a train or something, and this one has the same feel. So let's step on it here one more time. Oh yeah, oh yes. Mercedes, they definitely know how to build proper luxury cars. And this gauge cluster just still amazes me today, just how beautiful this gauge cluster is, and how I wish we were to go back to something more classy like this instead of just having, big screens like we have on pretty much every single Mercedes today. This just looks so much more luxurious. As always, big thanks to European Auto House for providing this vehicle for me to review for you guys today. If you're interested in this one, as I said, it is for sale right here, European Auto House. Go check it out. They have a lot more cars from this era. That is the reason why I come here to review these cars, because I love this era of car design and just engineering design overall. So check them out at EuropeanAutoHouseCO.com. I'm going to link it down in the description. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.